Hello everyone, I am back and I have another video to share with you. Again, this is from my old Plein Air Haven video channel. I hope you enjoy and let me know in the comments section what you think. Take care. Welcome back everyone to another video presentation. I'm out in the countryside once again, finding a place to paint. I'm pretty excited about being there. This was such a bright and brilliant day in early March, on March the 3rd when I did this painting. It was quite amazing. And as I was driving along, I found this little spot. I've actually been up in there a couple of times doing watercolor paintings. I've usually been looking west. Here in that scene I was looking east as I did this piece. So looking east and getting ready to lay in the sky, working in my traditional and usual way as I do a plein air landscape painting, and that is from light to dark, top to bottom, back to front, and from general to specific. Pre-wetting that sky, ready to lay in the blue of the sky. Now, it seems that with skies, I seem to be changing my mind as I paint them. And yeah, once again, I tell you, I figure I've only got one shot, but sure enough, I come in and later on I tinker with the sky, but it's always a bit of a risk, but so far I've been able to hold my own. So turning it upside down to wet it, and then turning it right side up to start laying in the blue of the sky. Maybe a little note to myself here. Perhaps the use of the mop brush to paint the big open expanse of the sky, it may not be the best tool in my quiver. Maybe I should use a larger flat. But anyway, I'm working with this for now and making it work. So just starting to carve it out there. Now this this east side of the Rush Valley in central Utah used to have a band of wild horses in it. Very small band of horses that hung out on the east side years ago, but that band is now long gone, and the only place I see wild mustangs anymore are on the west side of the valley, and then points further west. And I'll actually get out there later in the spring, probably more like May, before I get out there and try to paint that part of the country. I'm pretty excited to do so. So no more wild horses, and I think the reason why is because there's a pretty big lack of water on the east side of this Rush Valley. I think that one has to dig some pretty deep wells to get some water. I know of a couple of ranchers who have dug wells for their cattle, but for the horses, I don't think anybody's really done much for them. So there are some big wells in further west in the desert where the BLM has made a nice range for the horses to live and wander in. Okay, just going through the process of laying in those distant hills, watching carefully the patterns that I see, and trying to just block them in with a good foundation color to build on. So I'm not always necessarily trying to match the colors perfectly. Sometimes my response in that regard is a kind of an emotional response, if you will. And here I am tinkering with the sky once again. I kind of got tired of the straight flat blue, and I thought I wanted to bring in a darker blue in areas and let the rest of the sky feel lighter, whiter, brighter, as if there was just a little bit of hazy clouds in the scene, and that's the reason why I did that. Yeah, I'm using the ruler to draw in some straight edges when I need them, and just continuing to block in those foundation colors to build on. Now, what the video process does not show here is that there were times when I took a break, turned off the camera, and had to set the watercolor on the dashboard of my car as it was facing directly south towards the sun to dry. It may have been the first bright day in March, but it wasn't warm enough to where it was just drying so easily right on my easel as I was painting that I could just keep going. So as a plein air painter, you kind of learn what the season, what the weather, what the times will do for you or cause problems for you, and so you find ways to work with that and to cope. So now I'm working back into those distant hills. Pretty well have the sky done. Working into the distant hills with the patterns of those junipers and those pinions that grow back in there, along with some of the sage and even some of the plant. I think it has the name ephedra in it, ephedra something anyway. It's also known as Mormon tea. And yes, it's an herbal remedy, a good decongestant. So a little plant science there for you, for what it's worth. Maybe I'll have more to share in the future. Depends on what I can learn. And yes, I've brought out the maul stick to steady my hand. It's a really nice tool for me. I really like it. I've done a little hiking up into those hills and have actually, I've never seen any wildlife in those hills at all. These are what are known locally as the Thorpe Hills, and they line a portion of the eastern edge of the Rush Valley. And I've hiked in there and I've seen signs of wildlife, but I've never actually seen much in the way of wildlife itself. Perhaps it's the time of year that I go there, I don't know. But I know that I've seen a few antelope on the east side of the valley. That's the most in the way of wildlife that I have seen. So just working from the distance down into the middle ground, down into the foreground, and then back again, and just kind of working down through the painting in stages and bringing it to a full and completed finish. And this is a study, something to work on back in the studio. All right, well, I'm going to turn you over to the music now. See you on the other side. Okay, we're starting to come down to the end of things here with this little field study. I hope that you've learned some good things from it and that you can take something and use it in your own work as a plein air watercolorist. I'm just finishing up with some last minute bits of warm color in the foreground, some last touches of some emphasis of darks into that distant ground. We'll start calling it quits here. I'm excited to use this as a field study for a studio painting that I'll do back in the studio. You'll see a video of that on my other channel. So here it is, the finished painting in full color. I'm glad you came along with me for the journey. Take care, have yourselves a great day, and be safe. See you in the next painting.